At the age of 30, a routine medical report gave me a wake up call. I had high cholesterol. Throughout my life, I was into weightlifting and swimming, but my difficult work schedule and constant travel meant that I was inconsistent. So, when my wife suggested that I take up running, I thought, great idea. It can be done anytime, anywhere. Like most of you, I've always set goals and used frameworks to try and achieve them. But like most of you, I've only succeeded in a few of them. More often than not, I've fallen short. Something was missing. Some of my favorite goal setting frameworks include Simon Sinek's The Golden Circle, which talks about first understanding the why before moving on to the how and the what, or the SMART framework, which talks about goals being specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. There is, of course, the GSM, which talks about goals and signals and using metrics to try and measure completion. But I have realized over time that frameworks are like automobiles without fuel. They get nowhere without accountability. Today, I will talk to you about my personal journey and how in my life I have managed to achieve my personal goals by leveraging the power of accountability. How through my community and my friends, I have managed to overcome what I have very often felt was impossible just because of their support and encouragement. I vividly remember the first time I decided to go for a run. It was around the Kalur Stadium, which is less than a kilometer, and to be honest, it was a struggle. That first run, you would have found me bent over, panting and struggling to complete my one single round of the stadium. But I decided on that day that my strategy would be to take it one day at a time. Eventually, I managed to do 5 and 10-kilometer runs, and these milestones were just the first step in me achieving much bigger goals. But digging deeper and looking back, I had to try and understand what is it that helped me achieve those initial milestones. When I reflect, it's very clear to me. I was able to run and keep running only because I shared my goals with my wife. She held me accountable, and she made sure that she encouraged me and motivated me to keep going. That's one of the main reasons that I managed to keep running in those initial days. Of course, like every other runner, the next step in the goal was to do a half marathon. When I registered for my first half marathon, I wasn't sure how difficult it was going to be. I remember at the start line, I was both nervous and confident. But like any newbie will remember, it was not easy. It was much, much more difficult than I ever imagined. And my body and mind were not prepared for the difficulties that you go through when you try to attempt running 21 kilometers. I still remember how I was so enthusiastic for the first 10 kilometers that I ran too fast. And obviously, when you run too fast for the first 10 kilometers, the second half of the marathon is a pain. And the cramps and pain that I felt in my calves and thighs for the last 3 kilometers was excruciating. In fact, I was almost willing to give up. That's when I heard my name being called out from the crowd. Yes, friends, my family, my supporters were there in the crowd, and that was the push and motivation that I required to finish the race. How could I disappoint them? Again, like most half marathoners, the moment you finish your first race, the things that go through your mind are, why did I ever sign up for this race? Why would anybody put their body through this pain? And then slowly you realize, my God, I just finished 21 kilometers. I'm a half marathoner. I wonder where is the next race? When can I sign up again? Can I get faster? These were the thoughts that were going through my mind, and I decided to do research on how I could become a faster runner. So, normally when you search Google and find out how do you become a faster runner, the initial images that come are images of extremely fit, lean, Kenyan athletes. This was not an image that I felt I could aspire towards. My love for junk food and my stressful travel meant that despite all the running I was doing, I wasn't losing any weight. I was getting fitter, but I wasn't losing any weight. In fact, I remember back in those days, my motto was, the more I run, the more I can eat. And I had to admit to myself at some point that diet plays an important role in getting fitter and faster. Like everyone in this audience, I too tried multiple strategies to try and lose weight. But finally, what I zeroed in on was a vegan and gluten-free diet. I didn't do it for ethical reasons, I did it primarily for fitness and to get faster. So why did I choose this diet? Well, being from Kerala, we are quite lucky. Kerala vegetarian food is predominantly both vegan and gluten-free. Now, by adopting this diet, how did I benefit? Well, when you eliminate gluten from your diet, you eliminate almost 80% of all junk food from your diet. And the balance 20% is eliminated when you go vegan. In a 3-year period from 2013 to 2016, I went from being 89 kilos to 64 kilos. And this was sustainable weight loss. By doing this, I managed to complete my fastest 10K of just over 45 minutes and my fastest half marathon of 1 hour 45 minutes. This is when compared to my very first run, which took 2 hours and 20 minutes. Now, reflecting, many of you will wonder, it's easy to set goals like this or try to change your diet, but how do you achieve it? Well, for me personally, the way I managed to achieve it is by holding myself accountable to others. When I decided to make this lifestyle change, I told my friends and family that it was important that I make these changes so that I become a better runner, and I asked them to support me. So wherever I went, whether it's for social gatherings or family functions, people made special allowances for me. And just so that there was additional incentive for me to stick to my own decision, I even told my friends for the first 6 months that if you ever catch me cheating, I'll pay you 100 rupees. Of course, I never ever spend 100 rupees. Now, like most people, once you achieve a set goal or once you have managed to reach where you want to reach, you sometimes fall back. And that's what happened to me. Over the next 3-4 years, I went back to my old ways of diet, my old habits, my old lifestyle. And I realized that something was not right, something was missing. Was it the food? Maybe. But more importantly, I had to ask myself this question. Whenever I go for a holiday, or whenever I spend a few days away from work with my friends and family, I inevitably returned feeling actually more tired. I returned feeling like I needed a break to get over the break. So I had to find out why this was happening. And what I did, because of the fact that I use devices to track my fitness and my running and my recovery, I decided to track one such holiday. What you see on the screen are 4 consecutive days. The first 3 days were spent with very close friends at a holiday where the mobile phone was not reachable and we were just together. And the 4th day was back at work. The orange spikes that you see are all indicators of high stress, whereas the blue spikes that you see are all indicators of low stress. Isn't it interesting that on a holiday, when I'm with my friends, my stress level was actually much higher. My body was going through so much more stress when compared to when I was back at work and back into the daily routine. Friends, what I realized is very simple. On these holidays, these so-called relaxed holidays, we end up eating junk food and we end up consuming excessive quantities of alcohol. And your body will react when you do these things. Now, 2022 marked 1 decade of me completing starting my running journey. But as you all know, from 2020 to 2022, we had pandemic restrictions. And for me personally, I was injured. And during that period, I was unable to do long runs. In fact, I felt like I needed something to motivate me to start getting back into long runs. So I decided that I needed one epic challenge, something that would really really kickstart my passion for long runs. And I decided on trying to attempt 52 half marathons in 52 weeks in 2023. When I initially decided on this challenge, I started posting on my social media channels every time I completed a run. But after a few weeks, I started doubting myself. I was worried, can I actually do the next half marathon? Can I actually achieve this goal? So when I shared my worries with my close friends, they told me that get out there, make your goal public, celebrate each milestone, don't hide from this achievement. The thought was terrifying. Imagine letting the world know that you are attempting 52 half marathons. What if you don't finish? But I have realized that my entire running journey was possible only because of accountability. So, how could I set this goal without accountability? And that's when I started posting each run, letting people know how far I had gotten to completing 52 half marathons. Within a few weeks, I got really encouraging feedback. People who have not been in touch with me for years started contacting me and telling me how much they enjoyed following me and how they felt empowered to try and achieve their own goals just by seeing me posting. In fact, each post was like a mini celebration. It was an opportunity for me to share my achievement with my followers. As the months proceeded, I had to ask myself, how do I celebrate this in the best possible manner? How do I make the 52nd half marathon a joyous occasion? What can I do that is special? The answer was very evident. I had to include my accountability community, the people who are with me both online and offline. So I called everybody together on the 52nd half marathon. I made sure that my community ran with me. You cannot imagine the fun, joy, excitement of having friends, family, your kids join you for that 52nd half marathon. It was what this achievement was, what I dreamt this achievement would mean to me, and I could not have asked for a better way to conclude. But there's one point missing. I actually managed to finish the 52nd half marathon within 48 weeks. With my accountability community, I was able to push myself and make my runs faster, do more runs. So one of my friends at this final 52nd run asked me, what are you going to do? Is December going to be a period of relaxation, enjoyment? Are you going to let loose? I told him no, I wasn't done. I was going to do 8 more half marathons. I was going to touch 60. And that's exactly what I did. December 31st, I had concluded 60 half marathons in 52 weeks. To finish, I want to tell you that anything is possible with your accountability partners. Include your community, include your family, share your goals with them, share your milestones with them, and together they will help you achieve what is impossible. Today I ask you to reflect on your own self goals and your own desires, share it, and achieve the impossible. Thank you.